Prime Minister Scott Morrison has arrived in Rome to meet world leaders ahead of two crucial climate conferences. Doubts have already been cast over the summit's ability to bring about change following China's no-show and India's refusal to commit to a net zero target. Political editor Andrew Clennell filed this report from outside the Colosseum.
The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, has touched down in Rome ahead of a busy 4 days, the G20 summit, followed by the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow. Tonight, Australian time, he'll be involved in a number of bilateral meetings, including with the Indonesian leader Joko Widodo, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and Spanish and Korean leaders. But perhaps the Prime Minister's most important bilateral engagement occurred just before his flight, a phone call from the French President Emmanuel Macron following the cancellation of the $90 billion submarine contract. I asked the Prime Minister how he was going to repair the relationship going forward. The timing of the call, it sounded like a tense call, and when he asked for something tangible in his statement, what do you think that is?
Well, I welcome the call firstly, as I had written personally to President Macron and set out our keenness to find a way forward following the obvious disappointment, which we respect and understand. And so I very much appreciate the fact that he reached out to have that personal call, which we had last night before I joined you on the flight here. And so we've started the way back. I think that's a positive thing. Of course, there'll be candid conversations at the start as we deal with the issues as they've presented. But Australia and France have so many shared interests. Apart from being long-standing liberal democracies who share values and beliefs, our interests are shared in the Indo-Pacific. And the way you build back those relationships is you work together on the things that matter to us both.
The Prime Minister was asked, given that the Chinese leader is not attending and India are refusing to commit to a net zero emissions target by 2050, whether the result could be a damp squib. He said it would be a step forward.
Every time you come to these events, there's all sorts of bits of paper that's flying around well before, and I'm sure the final communique will be worked through over the next few days, and Australia's policy on these issues are crystal clear, and you can expect the Australian government here, whether it's in Rome or whether it's in Glasgow, and myself as Prime Minister, to be always putting Australia's national interests first and ensuring that they are the views that are represented here on behalf of Australia.
The Prime Minister also intends to meet his former Finance Minister, now Secretary-General of the OECD, Matthias Cormann, who in recent days has had a conversion calling on Australia to introduce a carbon price. Mr Morrison says Mr Cormann now has a different view on such a policy because he has a different role.
I look forward to meeting with the Secretary-General of the OECD over the course of the next little while. And he's there to represent the broader views of all the various members of the OECD there. He's not there representing Australia's interests. That's my job. And so I'm sure we'll have a good opportunity to discuss what he's been raising in his role as the OECD. But that's his job now. He's focused on the policies and the measures that are considered within the forums of the OECD. It's my job to represent Australia's national interest, and I'm sure he has a deep understanding and appreciation of it.